Oh, c'est magnifique, and bienvenue ici to Mr. Shay's art room. It is a beautiful morning here in Paris, n'est-ce pas? Qu'est-ce que c'est? Ah, it is a beautiful floral painting. Perhaps we could paint one together. So let's get back to the art room so we can start painting our floral picture. Okay, now that we've been in France for a bit, I think it's time to get back to some painting here in the art room, don't you think? So I've got a piece of Bristol board. It's a thicker paper, and if you can find anything a little bit thicker, this would be a good one. And four different brushes here, different thicknesses. And I've chosen my, I got my water jar here, of course. I'll scooch that in. Then I've got 3 different colors of acrylic paint. I've got a kind of a dark blue green, a medium green, and a yellow. And these are going to be my background colors that I'm going to use. And here they are on my plate here, and I'm all ready to go. I can hardly wait. So I'm going to begin by watering down my Bristol board here, which is kind of getting it wet. Not too wet, but just wet enough. And I'm going to go into the corner with some of that darkest green that I have, phthalo green, I think it's called by name, if you want to copy that. And of course, these are all acrylic paints. And I'm introducing a little bit of my medium green, stirring it all in, trying to keep things wet as I go. And a little bit of yellow as well. And brushing it all out, adding a little water here and there. And I think I'll get a little bit of dark green here and stick some in the corner and then in the other corner as well to kind of create a mood like it's supposed to be. We're out in the forest and we're noticing like a kind of a murky out of focus background here where we would see some beautiful wildflowers. So this next part, I'm going to get a paper towel here and wipe it off here. I'm going to get a little bit of red into my white, a little bit of red or magenta if you have any. And what I want to try to do is create this effect. If you're a photographer, you would call this bokeh. And that's a term they have for these out of focus kind of blobby looking pieces. These are supposed to represent flowers that we can't quite focus on. They're in the background. They're out of our field of focus, if you will. So I'm just going to use my white with a little bit of red, and I'm kind of experimenting here with different brushes to see which one will blend them and make the nicest kind of a round bokeh style round circle here. And going over in that corner, I don't think I like that brush. I think I'll go back to my little one, and how about my bristle brush? Let me try that. Okay, that's the one. Okay, so adding these spheres, these circles of kind of a pinkish tone, and I'm just going to have fun with it and introduce a lot of them and blend them while they're wet. And if they do dry off, I can always add more paint on top. The thing about acrylic paint is that you can paint on top of things and still hold white colors without melting the surface beneath, and that's why for this one we're sticking to acrylic paints for our flowers, which will come next. But just enjoy this part, this out of focus part, and I really love that color combination, don't you? Kind of a pinkish color versus that yellow green and that deep green that we have. And just the more the merrier. So okay, I think that looks good. I'm going to go into some brown here, but to make my brown look a little deeper, I'm going to add some dark green to it. And I'm going to get my brush really wet. It's a thin brush, thinnest one I've got. Start at the top and pull down. So you'll get a pointy tip if you start at the top, pull down, start at the top, pull down into the shape. And yeah, let's do one more here. Maybe start at the top and pull down to create one more, and kind of a neat looking branch effect there. That may take some practice. Be patient with yourself on that one. Okay, so I'm cleaning my brush off and loading kind of a medium brush up with white, and I'm creating these flower petal shapes. And they're not in the shape that they're going to end up in here, but what I'm doing, I'll show you in a minute, is creating a two-part flower that's got a far away segment to it. This is the far away segment of the flower for us. And then in a few minutes, then we'll create the outside part of the flower that is the closest part to us. You'll see that. Just hang in there. And I'm just having fun with my white, adding some flowers to the tips of my new branches that I put in, but they don't even have to be on a branch. We artists can make this stuff up here. It's okay. If it looks right, you can put a flower in anywhere you want, growing off the side of a branch even. And I think I'll probably do that here in a second. That's a good one. That's kind of a star of the show flower. And yeah, like right there, there's no branch, but it looks like it should be. So once again, with my flower shapes, kind of bringing them from the point of the brush down in the way we did our tree branch a minute ago, and spreading them around, making them point different directions, making them different shapes and sizes, and to keep that visual interest going. And I think I'll just fill those in here. Okay, next then I'm going to get a little red on my brush here, maybe a little purple on there too. Okay, and I'm going to begin to fill in these areas that are on the faraway segment of the flower, and I'm always trying to find that ideal blend of water and paint so that you can blend it around a little bit. To see what I've done, I've got a paper towel in my hand, and if there's too much paint on my brush, then I'll just simply use my towel to remove some of that from the brush, and occasionally going back in and watering things down. Use my bristle brush at times to feather things in a little bit better. And I'm just going around in, oh, I like that. That's kind of a little softer pink that I've got going there. Just have fun with this part of it because it's just kind of a neat way to create a far away part of the flower, make it look a little bit more realistic. They look more like leaves right now, don't they? But we'll change that in a second. So working my way around, using my detail brush to get into those petals, and then finally using my bristle brush to do the blending right there, and dragging things around without showing a line where things change too much, a smooth transition in other words. And down here, a little bit of pink in that one. How you doing? Oh, you doing fine? I hope so. We go fast with these things, but hey, don't forget to stop and just take a minute and look at maybe one or two of the segments here that we're working on, and pause it if you need to. Okay, so one thing I forgot, I'm gonna add some highlights to my stems here with this mix of white and yellow, and create a 3D effect by just adding a little bit of highlight to those delicate stems. And then I'll get a mix of green and yellow and do that little sensitive kind of new bud part where the flower comes out, and that's kind of a neat looking yellow-green. I like the way that looks. Okay, so I'm cleaning off my brush again. So here we go. Love this part. Getting a lot of white on my brush, and I'm going to pull down into these leafy shapes. And you see what I mean by the other side of the flower now. Now we're creating that part of the flower that's closest to us. And we got that pulling down effect. If you want to start with the pointy part, pull down. Yeah, that's it. And I'm making all this up as I go. I have done flower pictures where I've actually copied flowers, and sometimes I feel if you have a real flower bouquet on your tabletop. That's the best way to do it. This way we've got going here is kind of what you would call a floral painting. It's kind of an imaginary painting, but that doesn't mean you can't do some neat realistic effects along the line too. And I hope you're enjoying this one. Here I go with some more of those outside flower petals that are closer to us. And you can see why we did that shading at the beginning. Now we're covering up a lot of what we did in that first layer, and that's the realistic part. And down here as well, I think I'll punch that one up a little bit, and that little guy needs some flowers. And finally down here at the bottom, there I go with that part as well. Okay. Oh, I'm liking it so far. I hope you are too. And I'm just going to retouch some of that and make it a little bit brighter and a little bit whiter and less see-through. Okay, cleaning my brush off again, and this time I'm going to go into some red again, but we're going to be defining the outside part of our leaves here with the thinnest brush you have and a lot of water. And let's put some of that tone, and I'm going to use my blending brush again to stretch that reddish pinkish up into the flower and blend that all together. A little bit down here on this one too, and yeah, maybe a little less red on that one to have a little variety in our flowers. So same thing up here, kind of repeating the process at every flower. Oops, too much paint there. So that paper towel is your friend to help you get rid of the paint that you don't want. And I always keep that in my left hand just because I know I'm going to be using it all the time, I guess. And a little more red there. Wipe it off and keep blending things around with your bristle brush. Yeah, the water is pretty important, and if this painting would be probably possible with watercolor, but we'd have to plan ahead for the white spots, so we wouldn't be doing any over painting in watercolor like we can with acrylic. So here I go with that thin brush, and now I'm actually going to outline some of those petals that we just put in, and making some neat little lines, little veins in the flowers, and going around the edges of them with my red brush. And it's just a matter of trying to imagine details as you go, and some more veins in the flowers, in the flower petals, and outlining things, trying to define the shape of the flower that I want. Up on the top there, I think I'm going to go over the edge with a little pink. Keep your brush nice and wet. It'll hold a nice point if you do. That wetness, it's kind of a delicate blend between enough paint and enough water. You'll get it. It just takes practice to have that ability to outline things smoothly, and knowing how much water to use on your brush. And yeah, I like that one. And I'm going to add a little more red to the base, as I probably will to all of these. And following the petals over here on this side. It's kind of a neat, delicate process, but this is the part I think where it all comes to life, and you're really starting to feel like, wow, this is going to be something great here. A little more red there, and a little more red there as well. Outlining this little delicate guy. He's kind of the small one. He's maybe he'll grow bigger, I don't know, or maybe he's just going to be a tiny one. Who knows? It's all up to your imagination which way you want to go with this. This one down here kind of looks like it didn't open up all the way yet. And as I always paint, I always notice little things that need attending to, like, okay, well, let's put some more red at the base, and kind kind of jumping around sometimes to different parts of the painting as I see what's needed, and that's okay. Just got to kind of keep the heel of your hand out of the wet paint if you can, which I do sometimes, or I get it all over. You notice my fingers have a little paint on them too. Hey, welcome to art. Yeah, get paint on your fingers. Why not? Yeah, you can wash it off. So coming down the home stretch then with my red, and I'm just making little improvements here and there and defining things. And at some point or another, the artist in you says, okay, well, I think that's good enough. And I'm starting to think that, yeah, okay, it's time to sign. And hey, now that you're an artist, start signing your work. Why not? Then give it away to somebody or keep it for yourself. And, or even, hey, put it in a, there's our first one again. Yeah, it turned out pretty good. Or you can put it in a picture frame. Why not? Okay. Well, I think we're going to hang it up from there. So, don't forget what we always say. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, you got something to be proud of. You're an artist. Stick with it. And we'll see you back here next time in Mr. Shay's Art Room.